Next is the political context for spatial planning. It is a much debatable system uh, at government level. The importance of spatial planning in the process of urban development has been recognized in policy documents for several decades. As long as long ago as 1976, the Vancouver Declaration on Human Settlements, adopted at the United Nations Conference on Human Settlement, identified the central role of spatial planning for future urban development. Now, at the convention, it was stated that it is the responsibility of governments to prepare spatial strategy plans and adopt human settlement policies to guide the socio-economic development efforts. Such policies must be an essential component of an overall development strategy, linking and harmonizing them with policies on industrialization, agriculture, social welfare, and environment, as well as cultural preservation, so that each supports the other in a progressive improvement in well-being of all mankind. A human settlement policy must seek harmonious integration or coordination of a wide variety of components, including, for example, population growth and distribution, employment, shelter, land use, infrastructure, and services. Governments must create mechanisms and institutions to develop and implement such a policy. The European Regional Spatial Planning Charter, which is also known as the Torremolinos Charter, was adopted back in 1983 by the European Conference of Ministers responsible for regional planning. Now, it defined the scope of spatial planning and identified its key objectives and activities. The main activities, according to the Charter, include coordination between different policy sectors, coordination and cooperation between the various levels of decision-making, and the promotion of public participation. The Agenda 21 Action Plan, adopted by more than 178 governments at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development in 1992, devotes a whole chapter to the planning and management of land resources. The text recognizes that expanding human requirements and economic activities are placing ever-increasing pressures on land resources, creating competition and conflicts that result in suboptimal use of both land and land resources. The action plan asserts that a more effective and efficient use of land and natural resources is required if future human requirements are to be met in a sustainable manner. Integrated physical and land use planning, as well as management, are an eminently practical way to achieve this objective. The Agenda 21 Action Plan states that the Agenda 21 Action Plan states that by examining all uses of land in an integrated manner, it makes it possible to minimize conflicts, to make the most efficient trade-offs, and to link social and economic development with environmental protection and enhancement, thus helping to achieve the objectives of sustainable development. The essence of the integrated approach finds expression in the coordination of the sectoral planning and management activities concerned with the various aspects of land use and land resources. The European Spatial Development Perspective (ESDP), which was agreed at the informal Council of Ministers meeting responsible for spatial planning back in 1998, recognizes that spatial development policies can promote sustainable development through a balanced spatial structure. It calls for close collaboration amongst the authorities responsible for sectoral policies, including with those responsible for spatial development at each respective level, horizontal integration, and between actors at the community level and the transnational, regional, and local levels, that is, vertical integration. According to the European Spatial Development Perspective, cooperation is the key to an integrated spatial development policy and represents added value over sectoral policies acting in isolation. The Cmat Guiding Principles for Spatial Planning, agreed upon in 2000 and adopted by the Council of Europe in 2002, identify a set of key principles for sustainable planning policy and key recommendations for strengthening spatial planning. This document, which was clearly influenced by the Torremolinos Charter and the ESDP, contains recommendations on issues such as horizontal cooperation, vertical cooperation, and public participation in the spatial planning process.